the Australian Master Lee.
And Lulu.
All right, today we're reacting to Bob Dylan for the first time. Now, he's big, I get it, but I honestly never reacted to him, never picked him as one of the things we want to check out before because I was never that much into his music. It's not something that I think we would typically listen to, and truth is, a lot of his songs that I heard before, just snippets of it, I always felt like I didn't understand what the word he was saying. He's like mumbling, and he was always slightly off tune. And I'm like, I guess that's just his style.
It could be.
It's, yeah, so I never got into it. But lately, I'm like, you know what? They're making a biopic about him.
They are.
With Timmy Chalamet. I can't even pronounce his name. Is like starring in him, like the ultimate pretty boy playing a dude who looks kind of like a troll, kind of looks like me, right? It's just like, what's so special about him? And I think that's what makes him charming. The guy is unapologetically himself, and he sings music his way. And now that I'm older and I appreciate that, right? It's like fine dining lobster versus when I was a kid when all I want was French fries.
Exactly. He must have a really good story. Why
he must have an interesting story about it. Yeah, if they're going to
making a movie.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you know, every music artist, I think, who eventually becomes big had an interesting background, right? And this one, too, is really a great song because I remember hearing this for the first time watching The Watchmen, which is why I picked this music video. It's actually the intro to that movie. Movie you never saw. It's a superhero movie, but like it's so complex, and it's the kind of thing where she'll ask 1,000 questions, and I'm like, you know, babe, I don't have time to explain this. It's political, it's complex, and I think actually a lot of people didn't like the movie because of that reason. But I thought this intro was freaking brilliant. Set the stage, set the tone for the whole movie. That's why I remember it. Like to this day, I remember it. All right, let's check it out. By the way, when you hear some more reactions, make sure to subscribe.
And if you want some hotness, check out my fantasy show, Only for My Fans.
Good times.
Come gather around, people, wherever you roam.
Right? That voice.
And admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times they are a-changing. Some writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. Was the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing.
Oh, hello. I like this alternate world reality. Like, that's the whole point. Like, this whole movie is to set up a world that, like, mirrors ours. But imagine if it was different. Like, superheroes are not perfect, right? And, like, you know, scenes like this, which was so iconic. I remember this shot so specifically after World War II. You remember this shot? You probably don't. There was, like, after the war was over, and this shot was so iconic. They called it VJ Day in Times Square. And the sailor just went up to this girl and just kissed her. And that pose and everything.
It's so popular.
It is iconic. So they take these iconic scenes and set the stage to make you go like, oh, wow, what a take.
Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing.
Guy's getting committed.
Mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand.
Wow.
Your sons
I
and
forgot
your
a lot about these
daughters
scenes.
are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changing. is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changin'.
Government in Saigon that violence and oppression is not the way to peace. Reaction here.
Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changin'. Mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command.
I'm just remembering how dark this movie was. A lot of these scenes eventually got kind of explained to the storyline, because this is all backstory. By the way, if you read the comic books, it does a lot better job, I think, like getting into the details of the world. But it was a really dark, twisted story. Yeah, this is not, superhero stories always sort of have like this, like it's like Superman, that's right, the beacon of hope kind of story, colorful, right, crazy villains. This was so grounded in all the problems of humanity. And like just that scene right there, you have to admit, Snyder sometimes makes his movies a little overly dramatic, but amazing intro.
Old road is rapidly aging, please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changin'. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'.
All right, I'm definitely watching this movie again. It was so good. I really loved it.
Okay, can I watch it too?
Okay, yeah, sure. You can watch it with me. Yeah, you can watch it with me.
I promise I won't ask questions.
You will ask questions. There's a lot of complexity to it. The movie, actually, I think part of the reason why people didn't like it's kind of dense. They try to cover a lot of what's happening, and it moved on.
It's just too much.
It's a lot to digest. Yeah, it's also just dark. You're not expecting it to be that way, but it was. I thought it was just very. That's why I thought this. First of all, it's amazing.
That's why the song is so perfect.
Yeah, like times. It kind of lets you know the times are changing, which is like it's totally different, but. The fact that they played the whole song for an intro like that is... I
was just going to ask you, did they play the whole song?
I think they did, because that literally, I think, was the whole intro sequence. It's like a 6-minute long intro to the song. I mean, that's a commitment to trying to get the beats just right, to lay out the story. Yeah. That's why it was so memorable. You really did hit home, the way homely about the song.
Yes, and is that folk song?
It's very folksy.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it resonates with something like that. It, you know, it's almost like a common man kind of telling his story about you know what, this is all about the kind of issues that we're dealing with, and I'm just a little guy that I'm just trying to figure all this out. But the best way I could do is just like through the song and my harmonica.
Still want to know more about Bob Dylan.
Me too. Let's see if we can check out some other songs. Like, honestly, the video here kind of overshadows the music a bit because it's so overwhelming.
I try to listen to the music and not.
The visuals are so
music video.
It's crazy.